Hi, it's Peg and Des.
Scandal.
Alright, Scandal's back. I'm so excited. It's my favorite show. Before we dive in, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to our channel and rate our videos.
Absolutely, and make sure to check out the other videos on our channel.
Alright, so how excited were you that Scandal was back last night?
I was really excited because, as you know, last season left off with quite a few cliffhangers. The one thing that was a little tough for me this season is the dialogue, or this particular episode was the dialogue. I felt like last season they would use those rapid fire kind of speech-like conversations as an arc in the dialogue. That was to excite you in the show. Right. I felt like everybody was talking like that this episode.
Oh.
I feel like that used to be kind of Cyrus's calling card or Carrie's or Olivia's calling card at certain moments, but I felt like everybody was delivering those types of rapid fire cadence speeches.
I think that this episode was a setup episode for the season.
Right. So
as such, it probably wasn't the best season premiere in the world. I thought that we saw a lot, that we saw the direction that they're going to take the show.
Right.
They got Olivia off the hook as the mistress for the president, which
so quickly.
Very quickly.
I also didn't like how quickly they did that. I mean, were you okay with how fast that they just seemed to wrap that up in a neat bow?
You know, yes. And I'm going to tell you why, because we all know what happens when a woman is outed as the president's mistress. We've seen it before, God knows, in our own political situation. And your life is ruined. You can't do anything. You can't make any moves. You've basically got to go into hiding. You got to change your last name. And that's basically what her father suggested to her. Let me put you on a plane. We'll get you out of here. You'll go relocate to Thailand or Johannesburg or whatever. And you'll come back in 8 months and try to resume some semblance of a life. And so I was like, well, we can't have that. We can't have Olivia's life ruined as this whore that slept with the president. So we have to get her out of this situation.
I don't know. These modern day mistresses, they make it pop. Monica Lewinsky, after her situation, she got her Jenny Craig endorsements. The girl who slept with Elliot Spitzer has a store in North Jersey, and apparently it's doing well. I saw her on the news.
Monica Lewinsky, it was years before Monica Lewinsky resurfaced with handbags, okay? And got married and all this other stuff. So, I thought, even though I, loved the president's plan, ultimately when they got Olivia and Mellie and President in that bunker,
right.
And I thought, man, this is a power trio right here, right? Anytime Mellie's involved, you know something's going to go down. And I kind of like, they convinced me of their plan. Come clean, say it happened a couple times, not a big deal, regret it, move on.
I thought the toughest part of that scene was the degradation of their story into two incidences. Yeah. I thought that was really tough, and I think Olivia felt like that was really tough too. Right, I'm just going to turn this into a random one-off. I'm going to pretend like we weren't in love. I'm going to retell our story as if I regret your existence, and that's really hard because you know in your heart that's not what happened. And Fitz even said it's what happens when you're in love with another woman.
Yeah, well, what he was saying, the way that the affair did go down, is what happens when you're in love with another woman. They did sort of turn it into this tawdry affair kind of thing. And you can tell both the president and Olivia were pained by that. Right. But, I mean, it's funny because when Olivia said to Mellie, how many times should we say we slept together? 3? 5? And I said 2. And then the president's wife said 2. And I was like, I knew it, because...
Well, no one would believe 1. Right? No one will ever believe 1.
That's not really fair.
And 2 is palatable. Right? Not enough to make us lose our minds. Right. But no one would ever buy 1. It's just... I really identified with Olivia in that situation because I was just thinking, even if we can't continue... at least tell my story properly. Tell what I was properly. But, I mean, of course, that can't happen. Right.
That can't happen.
Right.
I mean, listen, it's Olivia's decision not to be with him at the end of the day. I think, in a way, I identified with Mellie in that scene because she is the one that's going to lose face no matter what. whenever you see those political wives have to stand by some cheating husband,
right,
and basically say, yes, I'm gonna forgive him, they look lame, they look stupid. Everybody's saying, like, why is she staying with him? Like, does she have any self-respect?
I think that those conversations are the worst, especially considering so many people, like actual individuals in life, stay through those situations. They put up with all kinds of foolishness in relationships. They stick around, yet when you watch someone else do the same, there's such an indictment on their behavior. The same thing happened to Uma Abedin, what's her name?
Weiner?
Yes,
Weiner.
yes, I'm sorry, yes, Anthony Weiner. People were terrible to her.
Yes, yeah. Everyone is looking down on you as the wife. And
right.
So I felt for Mellie saying, look, if I'm going to do this, if we're going to do this,
right,
I'm going to minimize how pathetic I look.
Right.
And you guys owe me that.
Right. You're not going to have me walking around on
right.
a 1-year affair. Folks are in love behind my back,
right.
and I'm just,
right.
I'm just a stupid wife.
And I'm going to take you back. I'm going to still stand with you after that.
Right.
After you're in love with someone else and sleeping with her for a year.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, that scene was just a really powerful scene to me. I liked it when first the president was saying, look, you've pulled the one ripcord that we had, that if anything goes down, right. I could protect you. And she's like, look, this is what's going down. This is right. the crisis that this ripcord was designed for. I mean, he's thinking, of course, some sort of nuclear bomb situation.
There is a nuclear bomb.
Right.
But she was very well dressed for the occasion. I love that white coat.
I know, it's very
That
nice.
white coat was everything. We have to talk about Cyrus, because Cyrus, as usual, is quite busy. Cyrus is the busy bee of scandal.
Cyrus is always up to something, but the president's always countering whatever Cyrus is up to.
They're constantly back and forth with each other.
Right, so Cyrus is trying to figure out a way out of this. What I loved about this episode, to be honest with you, was the change in relationship between Sally and the president. Cyrus decides to try to go at Sally with the hammer, right? He's threatening her. He's telling her, you're not going to get anywhere with anything. And he's using his usual bull in a china shop
yes.
approach to everything.
Yes.
And the president kicks him out, sits Sally down, gives her a glass of scotch,
right,
and works something out. And I thought, that's why this guy's the president. He understands diplomacy.
Right. I thought it was so funny when Sally retorted to Cyrus that I find your homosexuality to be quite deplorable, yeah. but I don't say anything about you and that poor brown baby. I said, not the brown baby. So I love that comeback. I mean, I don't agree with Sally, but I love the comeback that she brought.
Yeah.
When I was watching the president talking to Sally, I said, this is manipulation 101.
It was great.
It was masterful.
Yeah.
He said, can you do this to give me a little time to prep with my family?
Right.
So now it's a personal request. It's about the kids. It's
right.
about the wife. It's not about me, the philanderer.
Right. He got to her, and in a way, I think it's good for them to become allies. Now, Cyrus is still off on his own trip, right? So
the man cannot be controlled.
And Mellie, basically, he's her chief of staff, I think, because
yes. Well, Mellie's the president. Let's just put that aside. Mellie is the president.
She sure likes to think she is, and she, decided, what, I don't really like this story we came up with. Any version of it, I don't like it.
Right.
And of course, the president declared war against Mellie and said, we're going to see who wins this. But Cyrus was busy digging up dirt on Olivia, and I think it's awesome that they're digging into her background, because we're going to find out more about her father, it looks like.
Yes.
And he's the one that they passed, the Gladiators passed that CD to.
Right.
Indicting that press secretary. Which, who is that girl? I don't know.
Columbus Short, before we get into the press secretary, Columbus Short in this Gladiators thing just cracks me up.
He's into it.
Yes, he goes into those rooms, and I mean, he's just, are we ready for war?
Right.
Are we ready? Are we ready? And and the group was like, yeah, we ready. So the press secretary, the poor girl, I mean, as a result of having an innocent crush on her hot boss, all of a sudden is thrown under the bus.
Let that be a lesson to you. Don't write emails where you say your boss is so awesome, so cool, so doable.
Doable.
Don't do it.
Doable, because I did him. Right.
Oh, I felt bad for that girl. That poor girl.
26 years old, now the face of the affair. Kerry Washington is the Linda Tripp. Here comes the Monica Lewinsky.
Well, they had so much evidence on her. I mean,
because she's very quick with her fingers. You know, typing a whole lot, telling her homegirls how she feels about Fitz.
Into cameras. Like, ooh, he's hot.
Oh, true. That looked like that was at a campaign function or something, right?
That was before he got elected because she was calling him Governor Grant.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today. Put your head down, keep your crush to yourself. Wow.
Poor girl. So, but she goes to the fixer of the town. She goes to Olivia. Okay,
here's the part of the episode that was also a little unsettling for me. How is Kerry Washington going to defend, or at least speak on behalf of, the press secretary, and the press secretary's story actually be a viable one, considering Kerry was just accused of that behavior?
I mean, in a way, I felt like Kerry was like, "Oh no, you're not gonna usurp my position as the mistress."
You feel like this is territorial? I'm the mistress?
In a way, I feel like she really married herself to the idea of being outed as this man's mistress.
I love that you use the word married to say, like, you married yourself to the idea of being the mistress. That's a nice play there.
She can't marry the president, so she's gonna marry herself.
If it's up to Fitz, he would leave Mellie though. But Mellie is like, over my alabaster body, will you get with that brown woman?
Absolutely, she's not having it.
Not today.
But in a way, I think Olivia was like, wait a second, I was setting myself up as the historical mistress here.
Right.
And now you got some 26-year-old nobody in the place, and I'm gonna get her out of it.
Well, I'm thinking that based on the setup, we will see more wrap up of this next week. But we also saw the setup for next week where Cyrus is talking to Olivia's dad about what happened between Fitz and Jake when they were at war.
Yes.
And there's like a real story here.
Right.
So what is in that redacted or unredacted file is what I want to know.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty curious. And I also kind of want to see Jake. I mean, I know we don't know what's up with him. I think he's in the hole where they had Hug for however long.
Right.
And I'm interested to see him again.
Hopefully he doesn't come out looking like Hug. Hug looked rough.
Here's the thing. I still really, really root for Fitz and Olivia. I do. I can't help it. Even though I think they're a terrible couple. They're terrible for each other. But I wouldn't mind a little Jake detour. Wouldn't mind it.
You know what? I wouldn't mind it either. I actually like when Fitz gets jealous of Olivia's activities, because it makes it feel like things are a bit more balanced. You know, I've got my woman, and then you have nobody. You're always accessible and available to me. But I love that Jake, brings a little power play to the situation. Gives Olivia some leverage.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, hopefully Jake's not dead.
Okay. So we'll check in again next week.
Absolutely.
Remember, guys, subscribe to our channel and let us know what you think in the comments.
Absolutely. And make sure to check out the other videos on our channel.
All right. Bye.
Bye.